Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I am here to tell you everything you need to know to travel to Mykonos. We made a very nice video with the best tips. We will explain you how to get to Mykonos, how many days to stay, what are the high and low seasons, what to do on the island, what are the best beaches, beach clubs, and several tips for you to plan your whole trip there. So stay tuned because these tips will be very quick, useful, and not boring at all, guys. So enjoy the video. Don't forget to give us that like, subscribe to the channel because that helps us a lot. And that's it, buckle up. Well, we decided to make an exclusive video for Mykonos because it's one of the most visited islands in Greece. We think it's sensational and we love the island. Together with Santorini, it's the most famous one. We consider Santorini a little more romantic. Not that you need to go with someone, okay guys? You can go with friends or even alone. It's beautiful, but it's a quieter place. It has the most beautiful sunsets almost anywhere in the world, so it's a little bit quieter island. And Mykonos is a little bit more lively. It has beautiful beaches, of course, but the strong point there are the beach clubs, the parties, and so there's a little bit more different atmosphere, younger and a little bit more joyful. You will feel it, you will notice the difference, and if you do both islands, then you can notice the contrast a lot. And we made a video also of Santorini, so take a look there, and the one of Athens, which generally starting with the tips there. How do you get to Mykonos? There are a few cities in Europe that fly to Mykonos, but most people end up doing it from Athens. So Athens is a base city that we call. People usually when they go on a tour of Greece, they go to Athens, get off in Athens, tour around there for a couple of days, and then afterwards embark for the Greek islands. And there are several methods of getting to Mykonos. Mykonos is a little bit closer and Santorini is further away, a lot further from Athens. So a tip from us, try to do the Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini route, and then after Santorini, which is further away, you might take a flight to Athens or the ferries, which is a little bit further, but then you are already in the middle of the road. It's a route that most people do. And a tip from us, try to go by ferry. The South Americans don't know about it. Many people don't know that it exists there, but it's very common. Between the Greek islands there are many ferries, which are those ships that you see there. They are gigantic. They practically do not swing, folks. For those who are afraid of ships and things like that, they are very big and they don't swing. They are very common means of transportation between the islands, and they take a little longer than the airplane. Leaving Athens, it will take 4 hours by ferry to Mykonos. By plane it would be 40 minutes. The plane is much faster, but the ferry doesn't need a check-in, check-out. You don't need to arrive 2 or 3 hours early at the airport. Everything is much faster, so in the end the time spent is almost the same. You pay much cheaper and it's very quiet. We liked it a lot and we used the ferry to all the islands to do the whole contour, and we found it very good. I'll leave here in the description of the video down here, you click on show more, and I'll leave the link to the website that we use it to book the ferries. It's the biggest site, if I'm not mistaken, in Europe for ferries, and it has all of them, even from Greece as well as from other places. You can see how much time, how much cost the sections. You can search there and buy already the ticket. You have to do this to get there on time. Exchange it at the counter for your ticket on board. It's very fast. One point to pay attention to Mykonos and Santorini, the European summer there, people, is crazy in the sense of high season, the amount of tourists. July and August are the peak of the summer, the peak of the US and European vacation, so if you can, try to avoid July and August, unless you really want excitement. You will pay a little bit more, but if you want the excitement, the full island, then it's okay to take the summer. But these months are very crowded. We like it September very much. We traveled at the end of August and got to the beginning of September, and the island was already much more empty. It's still hot, you can enjoy the beaches, enjoy the sun, and everything is much cheaper, so try there if you can. The best months are May and June, or also after it's ending, August and September. The other months, of course, you can enjoy it too. The island will be much more empty. It's just that in these months the heat is a little bit nicer, it's warmer, and there are more open places, so they are the best months for you to go there and enjoy. About the amount of days, many people ask how many days do I stay in Mykonos, how much to stay in Santorini. It's very difficult to decide, people. We even made the video that's the perfect itinerary for Greece. We even explained how many days to stay in each one, what to do and how to do this itinerary. But to sum up, we think at least 2 days in Mykonos. The idea would be 3 to 4 because there are a lot of nice things to do. And if you really like to party, if your thing is to party or a beach club, you can stay almost a week. There are lots of cool things to do. It's like in Ibiza, it's a little different. It doesn't have the grandiosity of Ibiza, but the atmosphere and energy is practically the same. And here's another tip that's not so nice. Things are very expensive there. See, it's one of the most expensive islands in Europe. It's very sought after, very popular. People with money and celebrities go there on their vacation, so it end up become an expensive island. So be prepared to spend a little bit more than you would spend on other islands. To drink and to eat, it's expensive. You can eat cheaply. The good thing is that Greece has some very good dishes, and we'll give you some tips here. For food, you can even save money, and for drinks, you can also buy them in the market. Wine is very cheap. You go to the market and with 4 euros you buy a bottle, but when you get to the beach club, it's a little bit expensive. You can book a deck chair, a little bungalow at the beach club, consume, close a bottle or some drinks, and finally, but nothing that planning can solve. It's sensational. Mykonos was one of our favorite cities in the world, and as always, you just have to plan yourself ahead and you're going to be able to enjoy. Now the important tip, the location, where to stay in Mykonos. Mykonos is a big island, people, and you have to be careful where to stay. Our tip is stay in Chora. Actually, is spelled Chora, C-H-O-R-A, but they speak Cora. The names of places, people, clubs, and everything, you will see that each one speaks one thing. There they speak one thing, each tourist speaks, and it varies a lot. So pay attention to the names because the Greek language is a little bit difficult to understand for us who are used to our language. So this region of Chora is the most tourist area. It's very nice because it has a lot of restaurants, bars, nightclubs, souvenir stores. So if you stay there, you can stay very well. If you want to save a little bit, try to stay a little bit further away from there. You will save a lot and the hotels are cheaper. But our tip, try to stay closer, which is the coolest area there for walking and strolling. And the restaurants, guys, that are very expensive restaurants. We will see them in the reviews. There's a menu in front. It's nice because they leave the menu in front of the price with the dishes and you will have no surprises on the bill. They have a very nice Greek food which you can't miss because it's very tasty, different, and cheap. And they are also known as pita gyros or pita euros. It's a bread roll, a dough that's called pita there, and it's very tasty. And this gyros is a bread, this rolled up dough. There's chicken, meat, there's various flavors, fish, and you choose. It comes with various mixtures inside and a lot of fried potatoes on top too. So it was a dish that we paid 3 euros, less than 4 euros, and we ended up eating. It was a meal, so it was cheap, fast, tasty, that helped us save a little bit of money there. And there are also the Greek kebabs, which are not expensive. There are plenty of options. The Greek salad, I think we paid 6 euros for a giant salad, so there are expensive places, but you can also eat cheaply. And being there in Chora, you can get in the tourist area. You have plenty of options for all pockets. And a tip for those who like to drink wine, drink something, go to a market and buy some because the bottles are very cheap. We bought bottles of wine there on the first day in the little market for 4 or 5 euros, the most expensive one, which was very good. I think it was 7 euros. So you can buy cheap things in the hotel. It's very nice to stay on the balcony. There is always a nice view and a nice corner to drink. So this was also nice and helped us to save a little money. So it's good to pay attention to that. To make it easier, we put together a personalized map of this region, just like the one you see here on the screen. I'll leave the link here in the description of the video as well. And then we are able to build it inside a hotel search engine, which is the biggest in the world, for sure, you know it. It's the one we always use to make reservations. It always has the best prices and the best hotels. So we were able to build this map inside. You click on it, it will open a map, then you close it, enter the date of your trip, and click on show map again. It will open the same map with the hotels in your date and with the filters that we have already set, which is the guest reviews, the score from 8 to 10, which is to ensure a nice hotel for you not to have the problems and in the best location. And the golden tip to save on hotel accommodation in Mykonos, folks, is to buy in advance. This is the only way you can save money because there's a huge demand. In a matter of a month, we have seen prices skyrocket. So you go in, see a good price, like the hotel, book it. We like this hotel search engine because it has a free cancellation agreement with almost all the hotels there. So you enter, book, book, and if you're later on you have a problem, if you have to cancel, if you have to change something, you can cancel free of charge. But book as early as possible, because you will see that after a week or two you will come and the prices will be higher. So it's a very busy place. You have to take a look and book in advance. This is going to help you a lot to save. And even if you stay in Shota, you need a mean of transportation. Both in Mykonos and in Santorini, folks, it's very difficult to do things by walking, and cab, Uber is absurd. You can get one, I don't remember if it is in Santorini or Mykonos. The owner of the hotel told me that there are only 16 cabs on the island, imagine. And it's a giant island, it has a lot of people and a lot of hotels, so you practically can't take them. And our tip, take a means of transportation. What are the options? The hotels usually rent a motorcycle or a quad bike, which costs about 40 euros a day per day. There are people who like it, it's cool, and there are many people who rent it. But our opinion, I found it a little bit risky because the island's a little bit messy. People with the islands, both Santorini, Crete, and Mykonos, are a little bit disorganized. The Greek traffic, we found it a chaos, really. And being very honest, in Mykonos, people drink a lot. The strong point is the beach clubs, and so to have an accident, to have some problem, we think it's not very difficult. And also the heat, it's very hot. You need to carry a backpack, something, a suitcase, and finally, we think it's not worth it. And for the same price, we paid even a little bit cheaper. We rented a car there. The car is very cheap in Mykonos and Santorini. We rented it. It costs, I think, 35 euros. Actually, we were in 4 people. It ended up costing in the end 15 euros for each person, or 30 euros for a couple. It's very cheap. It was very worthwhile. And then take a look at the car beforehand. We found it more comfortable, safer, and it has air conditioning. The coolest beaches, the beach clubs, are further away, so you will need the car. And be careful with drinking, people, for the love of God. Do not go drinking, filling your face at the beach club and then drive back, so you won't have any problems. Be well organized and do things carefully so that you don't have any bad surprises during your trip. Guys, quickly, any questions you have about traveling or anything that's about Greece or any other place in the world, you can send it to us and we'll be happy to help you. And if you want, it's even easier, add me on Instagram, it's at Pai Lorenzi. Send me a direct message and I'll really help you. And take the time to follow us. We are always traveling around the world, trying to show these travel tips in a very cool way, and the family routine with our little ones, who are a blast. And we are in Orlando now. This studio here is now in Orlando. We just arrived and we are going to live here for a while. So we are showing everything. How's the routine? How's life here in the USA, the Disney parks, Universal, and so on. We are showing a lot of content and it's very cool. And don't forget to use the price comparison too. For those who don't know, there is a very good tool, which is a site that compares the price of the car in the best car rental companies in Mykonos. So come on, I'll leave the link here below as well. People, down here in the description of the video, I'll leave all the links for you to plan your trip and to do this research. The price comparator is very good. It will find incredible prices. It was where we got these absurdly cheap prices, and you get the car at the airport. Sometimes you get it at the marina. It depends on where you are, and you save money with the transfer, also with the cab to the hotel. It made our lives much easier, and the roads there are all well signposted and paved, so we found it easy to drive. Crete was crazy. It's really a place that I was a little worried about driving because of the cliffs, everything, but in Mykonos, in Santorini, it was very smooth. And in Greece, in theory, it's one of the only countries in Europe that you don't need to have the PID to drive, which is PID. It's the International Driver's License. It's very simple to do. I did mine. We went on the website of the traffic department of our city and made the application. It arrived at our house. It was very fast and cheap. It's your driver's license translated into other languages. In theory, they say it's necessary, but when we got there, they didn't ask for it. Everyone we know who went there, also, they didn't ask. We only had the national driver's license and the passport, but it's up to each one. I chose to do it. I don't remember how much it was, but it's good. Before going to the subject of beach clubs, parties, and the most beautiful beaches there, let's talk about the sunset. The sunset in Mykonos, folks, is one of the most beautiful in the world. It's not more beautiful than the Santorini one. We found Santorini to be an out of the ordinary thing, really. Whoever goes to Santorini will see it and will have an incredible experience. But Mykonos is also sensational. So take a good look at the places. If you have your cell phone working there, you can immediately search where the best places are. Little Venice is a nice place that's famous because of this. The only thing is that it gets a little crowded, so our tip, try to book a restaurant there, but book in advance. And there are several other places on the island. There's a place that's very high up where you can see the famous windmills on the island, which are historical and we think it's beautiful too. But get yourself organized an hour before sunset, because we went there and there was a little bit of traffic to park the car, and then you have to climb a mountain there, and we ended up arriving too high and the sunset was already happening. So this is a tip, plan ahead because it's a very popular attraction, but it's very, very beautiful. And talking about the cell phone, which is indispensable and helps us in every trip. If you go there with your country's international roaming activated or activated with your career, you can use it, but it's a fortune. Guys, it's very expensive, really. It's an absurd price. What many people do and what we always do when we travel abroad is to buy the prepaid international chip. It's much cheaper and more convenient to use. There is a company in our country that delivered it for us at home. They delivered it very fast in a few days. When we arrived, we put it in the cell phone when we landed in Greece, and we left with the cell phone working very well. The internet is very good. We could locate ourselves, use Google Maps, Waze, do some research. You can see the time, talk through WhatsApp. The number is still the same, so you can talk to everyone, and it made our life much easier. It's another cool tip. I'll leave here the link also in the description of the video so you can rest assured. Now let's talk about the beaches and beach clubs that are kind of interconnected. In Mykonos, the beaches are famous for their beach clubs and vice versa, so they complement each other. The southern beaches, they are more beautiful. We found them more beautiful than the northern ones. There is more structure. There are chairs on the beach. There's some beach club or support there, a place for a restaurant where you can eat and drink. So we think it was more worthwhile to explore the southern ones. There are many beautiful beaches. We'll give you some tips here that we think are the most beautiful. And to get a lounge chair, let's talk in general, it varied a lot. We found an average of 15 euros or even 20 depending on the place, and per person up to 50 euros for you to get a sun lounger with a parasol. Some places are consumed, so you can consume, it's even easier. You get 2 or 3 drinks and that's it. So this happens. In Mykonos it's very different. You will see that there are places with absurd prices, places for people who really have a lot of money and like to show off, and there are places a little quieter that are not cheap but are more accessible. Let's start talking about Kalolivad. It was, in our opinion, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. See people, I think it's Kalolivad, the beach that we think is the most beautiful of all. It's really beautiful. It has 2 very nice beach clubs there, which are well known and not expensive as the others. And the beach there is very beautiful, both in water and sand. I found it the most beautiful of all, the one in Mykonos. So this is a beach that's worth including in your itinerary if you are driving. It's easy to get there. The parking lot is calm. It has structure, and it was very nice beach to visit. And speaking of beaches that are a little calmer, there is Platis Dialos, which has a very calm sea, like a natural pool. Do you know when it's a little bit more calm than the sea? It was one of the few places that we noticed that children, people take their kids because it's easier. We didn't have children when we went, and we enjoyed it a lot with a couple of friends of ours who also like to party really. We always liked it a lot, so it was a very exciting trip. We went to the beach clubs and to the parties, and it was a different trip from what we do today. Nowadays with Clarinha and now with Laurinha, there's no way. The focus changes a little, but we managed to enjoy a lot of the energy there in the busy and trendy Mykonos. And now, speaking of the most famous beach clubs, we have Scorpios. The Scorpios is very well known, people. Everybody knows it. It's located on Paraga Beach. I don't know if it's Paraga or Paraga, but it's also a beautiful beach. It's not as spectacular like the others, but it's a very beautiful beach too. And the Scorpios is very well known. The price is a little bit steep. We recommend you to make a reservation before, but it's a nice place because everybody knows it there. And now there are 2 beaches that are the high of excitement if you want, and it's not that expensive. We think the price is even fair compared to these Scorpios and some others that are a little more expensive. Then there's the Super Paradise Beach, which is a very agitated place. The people after 6 in the afternoon turn into a party. They all drink, the sound and the energy is very cool. There are many people who just go there and spend several days in a row in the Super Paradise. It's a beach that became an icon and a reference for people from the LGBT community. We found it to be a very cool place, very fun. and it was very pleasant to visit. And next door, very close, there is Paradise Beach. This is super paradise, which we are talking about now. And there is Paradise Beach, which was the one we had the most fun at. There is the Tropicana, which is a beach that we thought the price was fair and very nice. We stayed there on the beach all afternoon, drinking, having wine, drinks. Then around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, it turns into a party. The DJ comes on and we have a lot of fun. The people are very animated. We get some bottles of wine. I don't know how. There's a little shop there. With 5 euros, you get a bottle of wine. It was very nice. It's a very nice experience, and it was not as expensive as the others, and we liked the place very much. The party was very good. And here below, guys, in the description of the video, I'll leave all the links, everything organized there for you to choose. There's also the hotel where we stayed in Mykonos, so you can see if you like it and if it's a good place for you to stay. It's in the best regional market there, the cell phone chip, the car rental comparator, the website for the ferries, and everything you need there to organize your trip. The personal travel insurance, for those who don't know, it's mandatory for almost all European countries, including Greece. You have to travel with international travel insurance. It's mandatory to enter there, really. So don't fail to take one because you can have serious problems. It's very cheap. Personally, for a 10-day trip and with a good insurance, it costs between $22 and $30. We got some with incredible prices. I'll leave here also the link to it. It's a travel insurance comparator. It's a very good site because it compares in the best insurance companies, the prices of all the insurances, and shows you all the options that are only good and very cheap insurances. You go there, in 2 or 3 minutes, you make the purchase and the reservation of your travel insurance, print out the policy that's in your email and travel with it ready. You don't have any problems, but be sure to do it. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel because that helps us a lot. And be sure to watch the other videos that are very good. The one about Santorini is very good. The one about Athens. There's perfect itinerary for Greece, and there's the one about how to set up your whole trip, and we'll leave it here on the side, one that's very good, which is how to save a lot on your whole trip to Greece. It's a sensational video we made. It's a step-by-step for you to set up your entire trip, saving a lot on everything and with the best tips. I'll leave here along with the playlist that has all other videos from Greece for you to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much and have a